Bowman Gray Stadium is the site for the 2025 exhibition race for the NASCAR Cup Series, and the Motorsports Mania Network is set to give you flag-to-flag coverage with NASCAR media timing and scoring of the great race at the Madhouse. For the first time in 53 years, back in 1971, last time NASCAR Cup Series competition was at this famed quarter mile in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. 39 drivers from yesterday's preliminary and a wild 75-lap last year. Can you hear me? Let's go to the NASRA Discord. Let's go to the NASRA DSR Electric Discord. Monday Discord. Let's go there, Jacob. We're back here at the Bowman Gray Stadium. Had a little technical issue, guys. We made a little change on our server. Hopefully that takes care of the issue. A lot of production going behind the scenes on the Motorsports Mania Network. And by the way, this is our first big network broadcast after last night's preliminary nights. Now we're getting ready for the big races, of course, with the Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. I'm Wesley, Outland, Jacob Reeves alongside. Let's try this again, Jacob, for the official introduction. Buddy, we're ready. The Madhouse has been wild. Last night, the qualifying, the preliminary, the heat races, and now that last chance qualifier that happened about less than 30 minutes ago has now set the stage for what we'll see for 200 laps coming up on a Sunday evening in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Yes, sir, and good evening to you, Wesley Outland, and good evening to each and every one of you out there on the live chat. If you haven't yet, make sure you like and subscribe to Motorsports Mania Network. But, Wesley, I sat there and I watched that 75 laps of that LCQ, buddy. I'm going to tell you right now, we got some beef out there in the pits. We literally have some. I mean, Ty Gibbs and Justin Haley getting into it. Ty Gibbs actually hit Justin Haley's car so damn hard, all four tires lifted off of the ground. That's how hard he hit him. And he basically made it look like, hey, if I'm not going to make it to the feature, damn it, you ain't going neither. And that's exactly what Ty Gibbs was sending a message for. But, I mean, we saw a lot of hard racing, a lot of guys making some desperate moves. Eric Jones looked like he was going to be able to make it into this clash. But unfortunately, kind of went 3 wide off 4, ended up getting spun around. And Kyle Larson may have to end up getting a camera put on the front bumper of his car because I think the whole thing just got knocked off right there at the end. So I'm telling you, they call it the Madhouse for a reason. And for the past 2 nights, Wesley, we found out exactly why.
Yeah, we certainly have, and obviously now we're going to see what happens in the main event. 23 drivers are locked in. Obviously, congratulations to Kyle Larson, the NASCAR Cup Series champion, Young Money, the man that knows short track racing like anyone else, right? I mean, a lot of people call him the king of the short tracks, one of the greatest of all time, whether it's dirt, pavement, you name it, Jacob. He knows how to get around this racetrack, and he had to do some wheeling and dealing, some bumping, some rubbing, shades of what he did about a month ago, being a 3-time Chili Bowl Nationals winner in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And, of course, he was able to get the win in the last chance qualifier, that 75-lap hooligan race, as a lot of people in the race broadcasting world calls them analogies, the last chance qualifier, the hooligan race. And of course, how about Josh Berry representing the Wood brothers in the car number 21? That driver, of course, out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, will put the Motorcraft Quick Lane entry in this race alongside the man that was the runner-up of last year's NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Of course, Ryan Blaney from High Point, North Carolina. That driver, the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion, will have to go in by virtue of a provisional. And again, Jacob, that is because he finished second in the points of last year.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the only reason that he ended up making it. And, nothing against Ryan Blaney. I'm a huge Ryan Blaney fan, but he more or less went out there in that LCQ and more or less went out there, had a couple laps, took him a couple laps, and then just went ahead and just parked it because he knew that he was going to get the provisional like you were talking about from the 2024 points. So, he had no reason to really be out there and try to ruffle any feathers or anything like that. He was already locked in. But Kyle Larson, Kyle Larson had to, like you said, had to drive his tail off, had to get up there and basically get it. He had to get him some, and he did. And obviously Josh Berry as well, we talked about him as well last night with that short track background that he's got, driving super late models for Junior Motorsports and then coming up through the ranks and then getting in the Xfinity Series with Junior Motorsports and then going to Stewart Haas Racing, driving the number 4 over there for that, when Kevin Harvick left. And now he's bringing the number 4 over as well. I mean, he just kind of keeps it going, or actually not the number 4 now. Now he's going to Wood Brothers. I'm telling you, this offseason has really threw me for a loop, Wesley. It's hard to keep up with some of these guys when they move around so fast. Kind of like guys in NASCAR, I guess you could say. But awesome to see Josh Berry doing it for the Wood Brothers. And I got a feeling we better watch out for that 20 or that 21 of Josh Berry and Kyle Larson, even though they're starting at the back. All hell can end up breaking loose here very, very soon here in this clash, and we may see them up there in the top 5 going for the win.
Hey, we'd love for you to interact with us in the chat box here for the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium on the Motorsports Mania Network. Leo Mars says, honestly, no clue. I'll go with Chase Elliott. Cody Knott says, interesting what you three are doing. Thank you, Cody. Obviously, don't forget the NASCAR 500. It will be tomorrow on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network, the NASCAR Cup Series tonight on Motorsports Mania Network. A lot of our production crew work behind the North American Sim Racing Association. You saw the promo before we came on the air with our coverage of the Cookout Clash. And, of course, we'll be ready to go very soon. As opening ceremonies is going on right now, they just wrapped up the invocation, the national anthem is now playing. Of course, that will set the stage for tonight's 200-lapper. Chase Elliott and Chris Buescher make up the front row. Of course, the official starting lineup will be given to you in just a short while, as right now these drivers are getting nestled alongside their race cars with their family and friends, crew members, car owners, crew chiefs, and more, getting ready for the invocation to follow with the national anthem, as it is a beautiful setting at Bowman Gray Stadium. The lights are dimmed, orange and blue around the quarter mile. That is the Madhouse. And I got to be honest with you, Jacob, respect, expect, and learn the Madhouse. I think those are the 3 things that I think you really got to definitely. Another word I want to say is appreciate, because this track has a mind of its own. It's called the Madhouse for a reason. A lot of people might not know this, but I do know the story behind it. The Madhouse, Bowman Gray Stadium, the nickname was based off of what used to be Madhouse qualifying. The night before the Hayes Jewelers 199 or the big races on Friday when you qualified to make it into Saturday's show. That's where the nickname Madhouse came from, Jacob Reeves, from qualifying, and then it took its own personality of its own. And all of these fans, 17,000 plus, sell out the Madhouse many times during the regular season, and now with the resurrection of the NASCAR Cup Series, they're ready to see history tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I did not know that, honestly, Wesley, that, all of it was based off of qualifying. I thought it really was because of what we see now. And, but, the very, very cool, to hear that. And obviously, what everybody would think that Madhouse is because of is just how much craziness happens here. Guys just driving it in there, not giving a, honestly, not giving a damn when they go in there, try to knock somebody out of the way, make sure that they can get that spot. And then obviously fights end up in the pits. Guys end up chasing each other through the infield grass. And literally chase them down and basically turn it into a demolition derby is one of the reasons why they call it a Madhouse. I mean, I've actually seen video clips. Wesley, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but there's video clips of races where, guys end up getting in a fight or somebody ended up winning a race that the fans didn't want, and they actually started chunking beer cans down there on the racetrack. I actually saw that one. It kind of throws you back to 2004, Aaron's 499 at Talladega when Jeff Gordon won that. But, I mean, that's what's so crazy about this place is that the way I look at it, they call it the Madhouse because you never know what you're going to experience. You're going to end up, experiencing some wrecks. It's short track racing. It is what it is. But you just don't know what kind of wreck's going to happen, who's going to be in it, and what people are going to do after that wreck ends up happening. And I got a feeling we're going to see a lot of those wrecks here tonight, and the Madhouse will take its name. Only Lord knows what we're going to see afterwards after those wrecks happen, though.
The countdown clock is getting closer and closer to the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. We'll step away. More coverage from Motorsports Mania Network and hopefully the green flag very shortly.
Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines!
The NASCAR 500 will be coming up beginning tomorrow. 4 nights of qualifying races, 3 30-lappers, 75 miles. Certain amount of drivers make it into that race. You got to go to the NASCAR 360 Racing Network, by the way. Maybe our producer behind the scenes, Mr. Dean, can give you a little link to show you how you can like and follow, not only on the Motorsports Mania Network, but also on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. Of course, Jacob, the redneck announcer, yours truly, Wesley Outland, here with you, and we're getting set for the countdown clock to come to zero. And probably, Jacob, one of the most anticipated NASCAR seasons. As somebody that works in NASCAR in broadcasting of 29 years, this is probably one of the biggest seasons on record. A lot of people are looking forward to the 2025 NASCAR season. But in addition to that, it started with the resurrection of the Bowman Gray Stadium, bringing back the NASCAR Cup Series for the first time since 1971 here tonight in the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I've heard a lot of things. I've heard a lot of people have been talking about, oh, this is going to be a fantastic season. This is going to be the season for NASCAR. They said the same thing last season, and look what we saw. I mean, literally, we had the closest finish in NASCAR history, literally, between Kyle Larson and Chris Buescher at Kansas. Very first race they raced at Kansas earlier on in that season. I'm telling you, we saw all that. We saw all kinds of beef, saw, cars. Just wins and everything else. Joey Logano ends up winning the championship. Just so much stuff that happened last season. And everybody sat there and said, this is going to be the season for NASCAR. And they was right. Now I'm hearing that this one's going to be better. And like you said, Wesley, to kick it off at Bowman Gray Stadium, honestly, in my opinion, the only other place that I would want to see the Clash kick off at would be Daytona. But Bowman Gray will do 100%, at least from what we saw yesterday and also in the LCQ earlier. I think this one right here, if they don't bring this back for next year, they're sorely mistaken. They're screwing up if they're not bringing back Bowman Gray Stadium for the Clash next year.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right on that, and I do got a feeling it probably will be coming back next year as well. Drivers, by the way, are getting buckled inside of their race cars. Again, we're literally counting down the moments for these drivers to go here. Obviously, if you look up topside on the Motorsports Mania Network, I just want to let you know, we paint a picture. I love radio. I work in sports radio for a long time. Radio, paint a picture. We can't show you video images because Fox would sue us, and we don't make millions of dollars, and I don't want to have to bail my buddy Dean Hopton out of jail in Australia. So, but nonetheless, I would if I had to, right? I'd give him the bail money. But no, we got to follow the rules. I am a media of NASCAR. That's why you're actually seeing the NASCAR media news. You're seeing timing and scoring in real time. Jacob, just like what NASCAR is using, the same thing is what we are seeing as well. The command is about to be given. The drivers are getting ready to fire their cars. And of course, thanks again for giving the command, these young race fans from Cookout. And the engines have fired up. We are ready to go. 200 laps here at Bowman Gray Stadium, Jacob Reeves, as the lights begin to flash orange, purple, blue, whatever color else I can think of. We're ready to go for the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium, my friend.
Yes, sir. I'm telling you right now, I'm absolutely pumped up for this, Wesley. You know what this actually means to me, doing some stuff like this, with some NASCAR stuff and everything. This is a big, big deal for me. And awesome, awesome to see that right there. Awesome to see the younger generation out there giving the command to fire the engines. Obviously, trying to build up, NASCAR for our younger viewers. And, Wesley, you know where I'm going with this, but, later on down the road, I hope that we can help our younger generation and build them up and make them racing fans just like we are.
And we welcome you to coverage for those that are watching on the listening streams of Motorsports Mania Network and CRN. Along with Jacob Reeves, I'm Wesley Outland. Dean Hopton is on production. He's got some pretty nice goodies lined up for you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, without a further ado, it's time to take a look at the starting lineup for the Cookout Clash here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Of course, as these drivers get ready to go 200 laps around the quarter mile. On the pole, the man that won heat races last night, the first two rows, are based off of heat races. From, of course, Dawsonville, Georgia, driver of the number 9 for Hendrick Motorsports in the Napa Chevrolet, it is Chase Elliott. To his outside from Prosper, Texas, that, of course, is the driver ready to roll in the Kroger Treetop Ford for RFK, the 17 of Chris Buescher. Row number 2 will find Denny Hamlin from Chesterfield, Virginia, the Sport Clips Haircuts Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. To his outside, of course, his boss is to his left elbow from 2311 Racing, car number 45 out of Corning, California, the Jordan brand unbranded Toyota, that is Tyler Reddick. Row number 3 will find Brad Keselowski for RFK Racing, the former champion and the Rochester Mills, Michigan driver in the BuildSubmarines.com Ford. To his outside, Chase Briscoe, the driver, of course, out of Mitchell, Indiana, ready to roll in the Bass Pro Shops Toyota number 19. Row number 4 will find last year's NASCAR Cup Series champion, Joey Logano from Middletown, Connecticut, the Shell Pennzoil Ford for Penske Racing. And to his outside for the first 4 rows in the Mobile One Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing from Norman, Oklahoma, Jacob, that's the 20 of Christopher Bell.
Absolutely awesome, stacked right there for those 8 drivers, I guess you could say. Then we go to row number 5. That's where you find Noah Gregson out there for Front Row Motorsports in the True Timber number 4 Ford. To his outside, Shane Van Gisbergen, SPG, and the number 88 for Trackhouse. Gonna have Trackhouse as the sponsor on that. He will be starting 10. How about you out there, you Willie B fans out there? William Byron in the number 24 Liberty University Chevrolet, obviously for Hendrick Motorsports. And to the outside of him, Ryan Priest, going to be driving the number 60 Fastenal Ford for RFK Racing. Kyle Busch, how about you, Las Vegas, Nevada, number 8, Rowdy Busch, going to start in that 13th spot. He's going to be driving the number 8 Zone Chevrolet for RCR. And to his outside, the number 23, Mobile, Alabama, Bubba Wallace for 2311 Racing. He will be driving the Lido's Toyota. And making up row number 8, Carson Hocevar driving the number 77 Delaware Life Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports. And to his outside, Penske Racing's own Austin Cindric in the number 2, the Freightliner Ford.
So that's the rest of the first 16 cars. The rest of the lineup, including the driver Ross Chastain, driver car number 1 for Trackhouse, the man, of course, out of Alva, Florida, in that number 1 machine for, of course, Busch Light. To his outside flank, Daniel Suarez from Monterrey, Mexico, in the car number 99, row number 9. Row 10 will find Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman in the car number 48 for, of course, Hendrick Motorsports out of Tucson, Arizona, the Ally Chevrolet. To his outside, it, of course, will be the driver of Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland, of course, ready to roll, comes to us ready to roll in car number 34, the Long John Silver Ford for Cheryl's Ford, North Carolina driver. Those were your top 20 that made it in from the top 5 of the 4 heat races from yesterday at Bowman Gray Stadium here. Now the 3 drivers that made it in from the 75-lap last chance qualifier. One includes the winner, the number 5, Kyle Larson for Hendrick Motorsports and the Hendrick Cars Chevrolet from Elk Grove, California. Hendersonville, Tennessee driver Josh Berry now driving for the Wood Brothers in the 21 Motorcraft Quick Lane Ford. He'll start in the 22nd spot, and by virtue of provisional, being the runner-up of the NASCAR points of 2024, the driver of the car number 12, a former NASCAR Cup Series champion in the Menards Great Lakes Flooring, number 12 Ford for Penske Racing out of High Point, North Carolina. It is Ryan Blaney. So there's the lineup. There's the lineup, my friend. 23 drivers, 23 cars around the Madhouse, the Bowman Gray Stadium. Let's introduce this racetrack to us, right? Because it's got its own introduction in itself. It's a quarter mile. It is a flat bull ring. This is actually the site of Winston-Salem State University. Of course, it's got a lot of paint and lipstick from NASCAR swag all over it. But actually, that is the place where they play football during the fall for the Winston-Salem State University. And Jacob Reeves on a February night, the 1 to go indications given, we're ready for 200 laps at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Man, I'm telling you, honest and Wesley, I've been shaking ever since I got up this morning knowing that we're getting ready to see the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season get underway here for the Clash. Pace car is off. For the call, Wesley Outland.
So it's going to be Chase Elliott and Chris Buescher on the front row for Hendrick and RFK. Ready, the long winter months are over. The exhibition race for the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season gets underway as Greg Harris unfurls the green flag. We're underway at the Madhouse. 200 laps on a Sunday night in North Carolina. Chase Elliott will get the launch over Buescher. It's going to be Hamlin now battling with Reddick. Reddick to his outside flank. They work their way to the line. 1 lap in, 1:99 to go, and Elliott leads him in turn 1.
And Hamlin actually kind of looked like he left the lane right there for Tyler Reddick to try to jump down, but Reddick will have none of it. He wants to go after Buescher for second. Elliott still got the lead now. He's going to take that hold. He'll jump down. He'll get third, right in behind Buescher. Hamlin's going to sit in fourth. Keselowski still in fifth. Briscoe, Logano, Bell, Gregson, and Van Gisbergen in the top 10 as we are underway at Bowman Gray.
Little ratty-tat-tat to start things here in the opening laps, but right now, top 10 are single file. It's Elliott continuing to lead the way by 3/10 on Buescher. High above the racetrack, Reddick sits in third, Hamlin fourth. Right now, everybody calm, cool, collective. 23 cars holding it together. The top stars of NASCAR with Elliott leading again on lap number 5.
And about the top 9 actually is single file. That's when you got to go back to the battle. Actually, now it's going to flip-flop. Priest, he's going to be back single file. Maybe not. Here comes Bubba Wallace. Gregson going to be on the inside of Wallace. Wallace tries to send it, and now here comes Byron. He's going to try to close that gap. Door to door for the 10th, 9th, 11th spot. All of them stacked up. Gregson and Wallace for the 11th spot here at Bowman Gray.
But Chase Elliott, he still holds on to the lead. Behind them now, great racing happening between Gregson and Wallace. It's for 11th spot. They're door to door, stride for stride. Contact's made. William Byron gives a punt to Gregson. He gets into Wallace. They hold it together sideways, dirt track into one.
The number 24 Liberty University Chevy trying to get these boys moving, saying, hey, I'm with Hendrick Motorsports. I want to get up there. Mix it up with my teammate, Chase Elliott, who still has the lead and is starting to pull away from Busher. We're looking at Hamlin and Keselowski still back to this battle. Gregson's going to get clear of Wallace, or will he? Here comes Wallace to the outside, and Byron just shoved Gregson along. He had enough of following him. Tries to go to the inside. Wallace is going to put the block on him.
This is what the Madhouse is about. Bumping, bang him. It's now Wallace to the inside of Gregson. Now Christopher Bale makes a move on Joey Logano. He got door slammed by Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen to the left elbow with a 22's driver door. They're going to go side by side as Bell scampers away in 3.
How about the door banging here at the Madhouse? And Van Gisbergen, he's going to shoot by. He's going to get around Logano. Priest trying to find a way, any way to get around Logano. We look back and Hocevar just got around Kyle Busch. Here comes Cindric. They're going to make contact. Cindric's going to send Busch up the hill. Here comes Daniel Suarez as well. But I'm telling you, Rowdy Busch, he's got knocked around for 2 days here at Bowman Gray. He's not going to be happy about all this bumping him out of the way. He's going to end up coming back at some of these guys' wins.
And right now, Kyle Busch back behind the top 15, mired behind the 2 of Austin Cindric and Daniel Suarez, the man from Mexico, behind him as well. Those drivers continue to battle. Now they finally get back single file. It is a conveyor belt now. Best way to describe it in radio land. Everybody is working safely. Single file now around the racetrack, and things calm down. Chase Elliott with a 1-second lead over Chris Buescher. Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Briscoe, Bell, Van Gisbergen, Logano, Priest, your top 10 on lap 18.
And Elliott's basically out there just putting down time trial laps. I mean, just absolutely waxing them as we see overhead shot of the beautiful Bowman Gray Stadium. And actually back there in the back, Gregson's still under fire now. Now he's got Hocevar down to his inside. Byron was able to get by. Hocevar, Gregson, they're going to slug it out for that 13th spot. Here comes Cindric. He already got knocked around a little bit. Now he's going to try to help Hocevar along. Hocevar gets clear. Now Gregson locks the tires up. Cindric's going to dive down to the inside going into 3.
Working lap 19, now lap 20 of the race. Right now, it's Chase Elliott. He still continues to lead the way. Buescher second. Now again, battle begins between Kyle Busch. Noah Gragson to his outside. He gets to the driver door. There's contact. A little smoke made just a moment ago by the cars. Suarez ready to pounce on him as Gragson door slams the right front side of Busch's car. They're going to run each other up the track again in turn 2.
And one thing they got to be careful with, Wesley, I've already seen them numerous times, as Suarez is going to send it in there. Kyle Busch is going to go around. Caution will be on the speedway. Kyle Busch ended up getting nailed from Gregson after Suarez got Gregson, and Kyle Busch ends up being the recipient. It spins it out in 3 and 4.
You know, it was bound to happen. Couple of drivers getting together. Contact was made. Kyle Busch goes spinning. First caution with about 20 laps completed here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Our first yellow flag. Here's a replay. Gregson and Busch side by side. I kind of called it before I tossed it to Jacob on the back straightaway. Then all of a sudden, Suarez tagged Gregson from behind. Noah Gregson then hunted Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch turned northbound in a southbound lane and then ended up in reverse up against the safer barrier in turn number 3.
Yeah, and he's actually in the pits now, probably getting a little bit of repairs done. But I just watched Gregson right there. I mean, he had the left front locked up. He did not want any part of trying to get into Kyle Busch, but he didn't really have a choice, honestly, Wesley, because Daniel Suarez was literally making that move for him. And one thing I was talking about before Kyle Busch ended up getting spun is we're looking right here. You know, we were talking about the curb and everything else and the rumble strips and everything else. There's those drains that's down there as well that separates from the track to the grass in the infield. And I watched a lot of drivers hit them drains. I mean, just basically trying to cut the corner. Got to be careful when they hit those drains. It will knock the car for a loop. And we saw a lot of that Last night in the heat, saw it in the LCQs with guys literally hitting the drains and literally spinning out.
Yeah, we surely did, as right now we continue to try to get back rolling again here. Problems on the racetrack, of course, involving Kyle Busch. And obviously Kyle Busch, one of those guys that normally does not like to get involved in accidents. Of course, when it happened, he got turned in the wrong direction. There's, of course, the driver, Tyler Reddick, in the Jordan brand Toyota Unbannable. I cannot believe that NASCAR let Jordan promote Unbannable on his race car, especially all of the legal stuff that's going on between 2311 Racing, Michael Jordan, and NASCAR. But, Jacob, First Amendment, they let him stand behind it. Freedom of speech. And because of that, they let them put the sponsor on the race car for no problem.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, that's one thing I love about free speech, man. That's why I love this country right there, having the free speech in it. And I'm telling you, I mean, they push NASCAR's buttons every way that they can over there with 2311. But here we go. Double file, Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, and Brad Keselowski. That is the front five. Briscoe 6 right there in row number 3. Green flag back in the air. Elliott's going to try to see if he can get away and get back out to that 2.5 lead that he had. He jumps down in front of Buescher. Buescher's going to give him the shove off 4.
Field works their way back to the Geico restart zone and back at full speed. Elliott still clearly out in front of the number 9. Buescher in second spot. Reddick third, followed by Hamlin, Briscoe. Speaking of Keselowski, he's got a trunk full of Van Gisbergen to his right. He's also got the driver of Briscoe. They're getting door-to-door, side-by-side off 4.
Yeah, and he better watch his back door because Seabell right there behind him as well. And old Seabell from Norman, Oklahoma, he's going to slide up, almost throws Briscoe straight into the fence. Briscoe trying to find a hole down, cannot find it. SVG's going to fill that hole and sends it in there to make sure that he's going to have that hole. Ryan Preece back there behind Briscoe as well. And last season's champ, Joey Logano in the 22. He's going to door bang with Ryan Preece off 2.
Side by side, Logano, Ryan Preece, another short track modified star that knows the Madhouse by racing modifieds in the place before. Maybe his prowess might help him here tonight in the clash here at Bowman Gray. He's alongside with Wallace. He's got Preece to the outside. They slam the safer barrier. Concrete dust settles as they work into turn number 3, and they're still door-to-door coming to the line. This is going on for the 10th spot.
And this is awesome to see, honestly, Wesley Outland. You know, I really thought, it would just be one lane here at Bowman Gray Stadium, but it's not necessarily one lane. I mean, that outside lane is holding up. I mean, it's not really making a whole lot of ground, as we see Ryan Preece not making a whole lot of ground after he gets thrown up into the fence. Wallace is going to get by. Here comes Hocevar. He's going to try to get by. Byron, if he can jump down to the bottom side, but he can't because Suarez is there. Suarez almost turns him off 4. But that outside lane, you have time up there on that outside lane to try to make moves. As we see the replay, that wall just snips out just a little bit too much. And Ryan Preece caught it off 4.
That just popped out for Ryan Preece. Remember, there's an arc angle where normally the fans sit at Bowman Gray Stadium. Of course, with the remodifications done with the new safer barrier around the racetrack quarter mile, he could still hit it, and yeah, there's still a place for fans to stand there as well. Elliott leads the way with 30 laps complete in the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. It's Chris Buescher second, Tyler Reddick third, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski your top 5, Christopher Bell, Shane Van Gisbergen, Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, and Bubba Wallace, your top 10. Racing rolls on as they work back into turn number 3, and it's the cat and mouse game between Elliott and Buescher now coming to the line.
Yeah, they're still, honestly, Elliott trying to get back out to that 2.5 lead that he had a while ago. The fight is on, though, behind him. Cedric, he's going after William Byron. Big battle between both of those drivers. Both of them battling it out all they can, and this is right smack dab in the heart of the field, right in the middle of it, if you want to call it that, for 13th and 14th. Now we look up. We see Bell. Seabell's going to go by Keselowski. He's going to go to 5th. Keselowski gives him a little bit of a shove, and SVG thought about seeing a hole, see if he could shoot down there below him, but he wasn't able to pull it off. Now Byron's going to have to watch his back bumper because here comes Gregson.
And that's that battle for that 5th spot just a moment ago. And now look at Ryan Blaney. Let's talk about the driver, Ryan Blaney, now mired with Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman. This is a great battle going on for the runner-up of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship last year. Noah Gregson's right in front of him. He's got a trunk full also of Noah Gregson, Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain on his back door. His Chevrolet gives him a punt. Gregson goes high. Here comes Chastain. He can't go high or low. He's got to follow him going back to the line, but still Chase Elliott leading in one.
Yeah, Elliott still got it and actually starting to somewhat pull away, put down some time trial laps like I was talking about earlier, trying to see if he can get away from Buescher, Reddick, Hamlin, Bell, that being the top 5. Rest of the top 10 as of right now, you got Keselowski sitting in 6th, you got SVG 7th, Briscoe 8th, Joey Logano 9th, and now Logano's going to go to 8th. He's going to go around SVG, and Bubba Wallace sits 10th.
Yeah, very good, strong run right now for those drivers, of course. As it stands, we continue to see these drivers work around the racetrack as the laps continue to click away here. Go towards lap 100. Let's remember that as well. Lap 100, there will be a halfway break at this race. And we had one caution flag so far, 40 laps into it. But I think right now, Jacob, the thing is just get to the first half complete. Let's get to that final 100 laps, and then I think the fireworks will really begin at the Madhouse. Or will it not? Here comes Van Gisbergen. He's on the right rear of Logano's car. Logano's trying to run down Briscoe, and now Bubba Wallace is in that battle again as they work the back straightaway.
Absolutely. Bubba Wallace tried to see if he could go after SVG, and now he's going to be to the outside. Wallace up there as well, as we're seeing the fastest lap right now being put down by your race leader, that being Chase Elliott in the Napa Chevy number 9 from Dawsonville, Georgia. Battle is still on back there with Bubba Wallace and SVG battling it out for 9th. Wallace on the inside and SVG up top.
Yeah, what a solid run right now for the driver, Chase Elliott. It's now almost 1 2/10 back on the field he has over Chris Buescher. Tyler Reddick is about 1.5 seconds back. 2.5 seconds back is Hamlin in 4th. 3 seconds back is Christopher Bell. Right now, the top 5 separated by 3 seconds to the leader. It is Chase Elliott's night here at the Madhouse right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally making this his personal playground, like he lives in Bowman Gray, like he's been out here racing all his life, kind of like Burt Myers and Tim Brown. Honestly, I mean, that's what he's trying to do, is make it his own house. As I'll say this may end up being Chastain's house. He's going after Blaney. Blaney shot around Chastain, and he tried to give him the business as well, as we're starting to see Chase Elliott start to catch the back end of this field. He's already catching Kyle Busch, who is sitting in last right now. It's going to be interesting with Elliott. Got that second lead right here. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets through this lap traffic.
Working lap number 50 as they come to the start-finish line here in just a few more laps. It is still Chase Elliott continuing to lead the way. Buescher in second. Everyone is all single file except for the battle between Alex Bowman and Noah Gregson. That heats up again, and the leader is hot on their tail going to turn 1.
Really starting to put down some laps. Chase Elliott led all 49 laps, and he's going to lead lap 50 at this point. It is not over between Gregson and Bowman. They are slugging it out. Bowman on the inside, Gregson up top, and they are slugging it out, like I said, right there in front of the race leader. And Josh Berry's going to try to enter into that conversation. He wants a little bit. He wants to get up there and get him some. And Todd Gilliland right behind him as well. All this going on for about the 20th spot. But all of it right there in front of your leader, Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott still continues to lead as we watch Josh Berry try to get around the machine of Bowman. Also, while that goes on, Gregson trying to get around the machine of Mr. Briscoe. Also, Busch, Blaney, they know the leader's coming. Chase Elliott hot on their tails as they work again off turn 4.
Chase Elliott really putting down some laps. Berry was able to get by Gregson. Now Todd Gilliland trying to see if he can get around Noah Gregson. You know, Wesley, I looked a little bit. I saw an article on YouTube where they was talking about Noah Gregson as he gets shot up the hill from Todd Gilliland. He was talking about, how crazy this place is for the Madhouse. He was talking about, in the heat races where he saw, a lot of people, giving middle fingers. He didn't know if it was because of him or Kyle Busch or who it was. in the heat races. I got a feeling right now he is not happy because he just went one lap down to Chase Elliott over 1 and 2.
And already Kyle Busch a couple of laps down already, at least one lap down. Noah Gragson, if the caution was to come out, Noah Gragson would get the free pass. But nonetheless, Chase Elliott picking him up and putting him down around Bowman Gray. And of course, we got to paint a picture on the Motorsports Mania Network. It is a conveyor belt conga line. Everybody around the racetrack, single file, nobody jumping out of line, no racing going on. I think these drivers right now are patiently trying to ride to halfway, Jacob Reeves.
Yeah, this is the most patient that they've been in 2 nights. Literally. I mean, they was not patient last night, especially if you watch heat race number 1. They was not patient. The LCQ, they was not patient. They was a little patient in heat 2 and 3 and a little bit in 4. But this right here is the most patient that I've seen the whole field literally in 2 nights, as we're actually seeing a little bit of a battle back here. You got Blaney, you got Suarez. They're going at it for 15th. Blaney's able to shoot around him and try to go after Kyle Larson. But everybody, like you said, Wesley, going for 40 more laps. Just go ahead, knock them down, and carry on. Get to that halfway break, talk it over with your crew chief, and then that last 100-lap dash, that's when it's going to get good.
Now, you're exactly right, and obviously we're seeing what these guys are doing around the racetrack right now. Still Chase Elliott holding on suit to the top spot. Buescher back to second, Reddick third, Hamlin Bell, obviously, as I mentioned, 3 seconds back in the 5th spot. And then it's Brad Keselowski, Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, Kostin Hocevar, and Bubba Wallace in the top 10. Continuing to see these drivers just work their way around the racetrack, being single file, try to get to the halfway mark of this race right now. As remember, there will be a halfway break on lap 100. It is all Chase Elliott right now, but Reddick trying to run down Buescher for second. That's closing in as they work their way off turn 4.
Yeah, he's literally right all over his back bumper. Tyler Reddick trying to see if he can get him some, obviously. Was in the championship 4 last season at Phoenix after that wild finish that we saw at Homestead, that last lap pass, to be able to pull it off. So Reddick trying to get up here and get at least in that 2nd spot. He may really want it bad enough, as you literally see the treetop right on the back bumper of the number 17 Ford, and Reddick may slide in there and give him a little shove. Maybe not. He may be just trying to let him know that he's there.
Give him a little shot there once again, making that move right there on the outside, continuing to make that spot. Right now, Chase Elliott trying to run back down Mr. Kyle Busch. Now, everyone else does like that if they're up ahead of the 8 Machine Chevrolet, because obviously Gilliland and Gragson and all them know they got to get on the loud pedal and quickly to get quickly away from Elliott. Right now, approaching lap number 70 of the Cookout Clash. Chase Elliott still in front, but he is literally going after it with Kyle Busch to put the back marker car a lap down as he's up in front of him, going to 1 and 2. And now Ryan Preece and Ryan Blaney, the Ryan battle as there's contact coming down the front straightaway. Blaney almost turns into Preece. Preece now got to battle off and hold off the likes of the machine of Larson in 2.
Well, though with that conveyor belt right there, is now Blaney's going to shoot by. He's going to go to 13. Now here comes Preece. Now he's got to worry about Larson. Larson riding on board, literally all in the back bumper of the number 60. And Blaney got around Preece, and he is starting to check out and set sail and try to set his sights now on the number 2, his teammate of Austin Cindric. And Kyle Busch is already 1 lap down, Wesley. He does not want to go 2 laps down. He wants to at least have a fight, at least have a say here at the end of this thing. Obviously getting knocked around by Noah Gragson a while ago. So Kyle Busch really racing Chase Elliott very hard right now to try to stay in that position. He ain't going to be able to do it. Elliott's going to slide by Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch 2 laps down now.
It's Chase Elliott still in the lead, but now Denny Hamlin trying to make a run on Tyler Reddick. This battle goes on as the Sport Clips Toyota now picks to the outside of Reddick's car. Reddick now under the gun. The boss is on his back door. Now the driver, this driver to hold on is Buescher. Reddick is trying to clear by him as they work into turn number 3.
Yeah, this is literally a little bit of a stack up, kind of like what you would see on I-75 right there in Atlanta, up here in Georgia, down here in Georgia, if you want to put it that way, from Bowman Gray. Here comes Hamlin. He's going to shoot to the outside. Reddick got no challenge for him unless he drives it in there and doors his boss, and I got a feeling that's not going to be a good meeting for him, I guess, Monday morning. Obviously, you don't want to door your boss and end up wrecking him, but now he's got Seabell back there trying to battle as well. But good, clean battle right now between Reddick and Hamlin, going through 3 and 4. Reddick on the inside, Hamlin up top.
Big conversation going on watching these drivers is what will happen between the boss and the employee. Tyler Reddick driving for 2311 Racing. Joe Gibbs driving for, Denny Hamlin driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, but he owns 2311 Racing. He's trying to get around one of his cars. As all this goes on, Bell and Briscoe have ran each other down. Also now, William Byron under attack by the 34 Gilliland. There's contact. William Byron spins, just misses the machine of Kyle Busch, the lap car, and the Liberty University Chevrolet will cause the caution to come out here with about 22 laps to go in the first 100 laps of the Cookout Clash.
Wow, that was battling with Todd Gilliland in the 34, both of them coming down the front straightaway. It looked like Byron might have shoved Gilliland up into the wall. We was talking about that little area right there coming off forward where the wall kind of sticks out a little bit more than what it usually does. And I think that wall's actually starting to give these guys fits. Remember last night, A.J. Allmendinger, and I believe it might have been Josh Berry, both of them kind of got into it off of that wall. Eric Jones last night, or tonight actually rather, he ended up getting into that with that wall sticking out, so that wall's giving him a little bit of fits. And I think that right there had a lot to do with Byron going around off the front end of Todd Gilliland.
Caution flag coming out on lap number 78. It's the first time that we've seen the yellow flag fly since lap number 20 when the accident happened with, of course, Kyle Busch spinning in turn number 3. Now the yellow flag flies for, of course, the driver, of course, of Mr. William Byron. Going around, he's able to get back in going position. This will put us under the yellow flag, though, as we are closing in to the end of stage number 1. It's 100 laps. There will be a break at the end of the 100 laps, and then they'll come back for that final 100-lapper. Oh, we're going to rest our voices as it's been a good one at the Madhouse. It's just getting started. More Cookout Clash coverage of NASCAR on the Motorsports Mania Network when we return. Hey, we previewed the NASCAR 500. It starts tomorrow. Here's more details about it. Click the link if you want to get signed up as well.
Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines!
Back here at Bowman Gray Stadium, caution flag out over the racetrack, of course, on lap number 78 of 200 laps here in the Cookout Clash. Of course, thanks for joining us on the Motorsports Mania Network. I'm Wesley, Outland, Jacob Reeves alongside. Dean Hopton is on the production side of things, and we are not done yet. This has been a fairly quiet course first couple of laps, and then Jacob, it turned up again between Todd Gilliland, William Byron, Ryan Preece, all those guys around each other. You knew it was gonna go downhill from there.
Yeah, I think you might have jinxed it just a little bit, Wesley. Honestly, I think you might have jinxed it just a little bit, and yeah, I mean, it has been very quiet and calm here so far and everything, and then that little bit right there, maybe it'll calm down right here. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up just going at it right here for this last 20 laps right here to put themselves in position, because granted, you were talking about it. We get a break at 100, and then we're going to stop. Everybody's going to talk about it, but those positions that they're going to have, that's where they're going to restart from for that second half here of the Clash. So some of these guys may want to push it a little bit and get some good track position to get themselves ready for that last 100 laps.
No, you're exactly right, and obviously we are not done yet. These guys continue to race side by side. Great battling, great excitement. This is exactly what these fans have literally prepared to sell out the Madhouse for, to see this history-making race. And now we are seeing it, obviously, right now. Jacob Reeves, those listening on Motorsports Mania Network. And again, what an historic race this is. I would love to see them bring it back again. I hope they bring it back again, but obviously we still got a few more laps to settle it here. Green flag goes back in the air in stage one. I say stage one, but it's not stages. We go to lap 100, and there will be a halfway break. Chase Elliott on the gun. He had a big lead over Denny Hamlin. Now Hamlin took the choose rule. He'll power alongside Elliott for that spot, and they'll work their way with Buscher. And now Reddick, door to door for the first two rows. 3 wide with now Briscoe in the middle between Wallace and Suarez as they go to one.
And here comes Denny Hamlin to the outside. Chase Elliott gonna get literally the one challenge that he's had all night long, basically in 2 nights. He didn't get a challenge in his heat race, and he really didn't get a challenge right there in the first 70 laps, but boy, did it come at the wrong time for him. Right here with 20 to go before the halfway break, Denny Hamlin trying to put on a show, giving the fans here at Bowman Gray something to talk about. They're going to door bang. Elliott overshoots the corner. He jumps up. They door bang at 3 and 4, but Hamlin's not giving up.
Good hard racing going on as these guys continue to battle. It is phenomenal. It is Elliott back to the lead. Hamlin now fires back about 2/10. He's now going to try to reload his guns and pull the arsenal again on the 9 as they go into 1. He's got the boss man and the employee. It's Reddick to help out Hamlin going after Elliott into turn 3.
And I bet you right now a lot of Chase Elliott fans are sitting there looking at it going, no, not Denny Hamlin, because anybody that's been a big Chase Elliott fan for a long time remembers all the way back in 2017 when Hamlin got into Chase Elliott at Martinsville and spun him around and costed him his very first win in the NASCAR Cup Series. So a lot of Elliott fans seeing Hamlin back there, they don't like this right here, Wesley, because obviously he is literally the Boston Red Sox of the New York Yankees. That's what everybody's worried about, as we're seeing some serious battling going on back here. Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Blaney. Briscoe kicked up to the top. Here comes Blaney down to the inside trying to go after 12.
Do you remember what happened earlier in the race, obviously, when those guys were battling with one another? Remember what happened in the last chance qualifier when Burt Myers got punted by Ricky Stenhouse Jr.? It's the same likes now between Elliott and Hamlin, and the crowd is beside themselves. They are loving the boy out of Dawsonville. Will they rain the sirens over the midnight hour in the Peach State for the number 9 in the Dawsonville pool room? That's the question. Right now, closing in on the final 11 laps of the first 100-lap stage of the race. It is Elliott, but Hamlin and Reddick are right there on the back door as they go into turn 1.
It is a Toyota parade right behind the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet Camaro. Chase Elliott still has the lead. Here comes Hamlin. Reddick trying to go after Hamlin as well. Both of them trying to gang up on old Chase Elliott, but Elliott not giving up, keeping it right up against the drains, not touching them, but keeping it right there on the bottom of the racetrack, making these old boys, if they want to have a shot, to try to go high. That's exactly what Hamlin's thinking. Hamlin looking to the outside on 4.
Here they come to the line now, flashing below the flag stand on the speed shot camera. It is still the man Chase Elliott holding on to that spot. Hamlin's looking high. He's looking low. Reddick is ready to be the wingman, Top Gun style on the 9. The 9 holds him off again, going back to turn 1.
And Hamlin obviously knowing that his own car behind him, but he's got to watch that inside because Reddick may be actually playing with him and playing possum with him. He may end up trying to go to the inside and kick Hamlin up top and then try to go after second. So Hamlin obviously owning the car. He's got to watch himself as they are door banging big time back here for the 12th spot. Cindric and Briscoe going at it, and Kyle Larson, they had to put a brand new camera on the front of that car because he literally knocked the camera off of it from the LCQ. Now he's trying to dive down to the inside of Austin Cindric.
Right there, it's like a chain race with Elliott in front. Here comes now another punt by Hamlin. Hamlin gives a shot to the left rear. He gets Hamlin loose again. He gets Elliott loose again. Reddick's ready to pounce on both of them for a 2-for-1 special. They're also closing in on lap 100. It is Elliott still in the lead as we watch him work again to the back straightaway.
Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, and Seabell, they want none of it. Matter of fact, all three of them's in their own little race. These three drivers, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and Tyler Reddick, have jumped out to about a 2-second lead over Chris Buescher, who's sitting back in fourth. Here comes Denny Hamlin to the inside. They door bang. They're door banging all over the place, coming off 4. Hamlin by nose going into 1.
You want to talk about fender rub. There was literally sparks, or not that, dust coming off of the contact between the 11 Toyota, the Chevrolet number 9 of Elliott. These guys are still going at it. Final laps closing in the first stage here at the Cookout Clash. Now Hamlin clears by Elliott. Now Reddick gets by Elliott. He falls back to third as we're approaching the end of this one here in the first 100 laps off turn 4.
Chase Elliott basically got ganged up on right there as we are on lap 100, waiting on that caution for this halfway break. And it looks like Denny Hamlin will end up leading them to the halfway point. Reddick will be in second, Chase Elliott, and there is the caution flag. So Denny Hamlin and Reddick able to squeak by Elliott right here at the end of the first part of it.
So the yellow flag will come out here at the end of the first 100 laps, of course. Drivers will be going to pit lane. I just wonder what kind of work's going to be done on these race cars. The fans are being delighted to an exciting one. We hope you're enjoying the coverage on the Motorsports Mania Network. Don't forget the NASCAR 500 presented by Glass Mechanic begins tomorrow. It's a big one for NASCAR. We hope you enjoy it as well on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. And of course, we continue with the first 100 laps completed. It is Denny Hamlin. He got around Chase Elliott. They had to door slam one another, Jacob, to make it happen. But finally, the number 11 Toyota cleared by Elliott, and then Tyler Reddick was able to go after that second spot. So 100 laps are complete here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Absolutely. I mean, Denny Hamlin, he was looking to the outside, looking to the outside, looking to the outside. He probably made Chase sit there and think, well, I'm going to jump up to the top right here and try to at least block this advance. Where he messed up was he went up high. If he would have kept it down on the bottom, I don't think Hamlin would have been able to get around him unless he just knocked him out of the way. But from what I saw, he slid up a little bit. Hamlin saw a hole, jumped down to the inside, faked him out. He was able to jump down there, obviously door bang, and then got by him. And then Tyler Reddick just shot right by Chase Elliott as well. So Elliott done a fantastic job all the way through it, but got right there at the point where he needed to at least try to keep the lead. He's going to be thinking about that when we go for this last 100 laps.
What an exciting first 100 laps we saw as well, right? I mean, it was absolutely exciting. A couple of caution flags. I got a feeling, though, the second 100 laps, hold on. This is what you saved your lunch money for the excitement that is going to be going on here around the Madhouse at this Bowman Gray Stadium. This track, a quarter mile, it is a flat surface, the flattest surface of NASCAR right here. Last time the NASCAR Cup Series raced at Bowman Gray Stadium, it was in August of 1971. Bobby Allison was actually the winner. Kind of a story behind that. Bobby Allison actually was the winner, but it was encumbered. He only was credited with 84 NASCAR Cup Series wins until October of last year when they finally gave him his 85th NASCAR win. That race was Bowman Gray Stadium, 1971. He was driving for the Grand American Race Cars, which is basically like the Xfinity Series and not the Grand National Cup car. However, the powers that be with Jim France and Mike Helton said the win is a win. As I always say sometimes, Jacob, a win is a win is a win. They gave him his 85th win, putting him fourth on the NASCAR all-time win list. And, of course, Bobby Allison passed away a couple of weeks after being enshrined as the winner at Bowman Gray Stadium. That's why the Bobby Allison Memorial Trophy is up for grabs here tonight to the winner of the Cookout Clash. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll give you the full field rundown at the first 100 laps complete, 100 laps to go. Stay tuned. This is NASCAR on the Motorsports Mania Network.
Reach up there and pull those belts tight. One more time. Drivers, start your engines!
Welcome back to Bowman Gray Stadium coverage of the Cookout Clash on the Motorsports Mania Network. I'm Wesley Outland. Jacob Reeves is alongside. Dean Hopton is on production. Red flag is out after 100 laps. Jacob, what's your take of the first century grind around Bowman Gray Stadium? Very entertaining. I think it's only going to get bigger and better for the next 100 laps after these drivers on the pit lane. They're making adjustments. They're cooling off the engines, believe it or not. We're actually seeing a lot of drivers put fans on the engine compartments to cool the cars off. And in addition to that, we're seeing shocks and, track bar, wedge adjustments, tire pressure changes, changing tires, adding fuel. Just some of the things we're watching these drivers do on pit lane right now as their crews are working on them during the break.
Yeah, pretty cool to actually see what they're doing and everything. Obviously, this being a special event, with NASCAR, so they're able to go in and make all the changes and all that good stuff to try to get it lined up and get them ready for this last 100-lap dash right here. But, Wesley, I thought, honestly, it was a great first 100 laps. Looked like Chase Elliott was just going to literally run away with it. And then Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick basically just waited for anything right there to be able to try to shoot around him. As we're actually looking at it on our end, they have no lights right there behind where the pits is.
Yeah, it's
Everybody
dark.
has got, they've got some huge lights that they're trying to get lined up to be able just to see up under the cars. You would think that, they would have threw some big lights out there to be able to let everybody see what's going on, but I guess they, Wesley, I hate to say it, but I guess they didn't think that far ahead on that one. I guess.
Well, Ben Kennedy and the powers that be at NASCAR did all they could to get this race prepared for the Cookout Clash. And maybe the next thing they need to add on their resume is to actually make sure they get big halogen lights, bring in those must-go lights like they did to light up Charlotte Motor Speedway for one hot night in '92. The same thing at Bowman Gray Stadium. They got new lights. We saw the during driver introductions, Jacob, the red and the blue and the orange and the purple, all the fancy color lights that are new LED lights for the racetrack, but not for the back pit area. And I'll also tell you as well, I think the field house big building is where they're using as a pit area. I think that's also blocking some of the LED lights, the bright lights from Bowman Gray Stadium. They got a couple of big light poles, but they're so far back, about 100 yards away. A lot of these race teams are literally having to use halogen lights or light poles or, one of their foam lights for that matter to try to be able to do the work that they need to do on their race cars. It's quite, I don't want to say the word hysterical, but it definitely is interesting.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool right there to see that. Honestly, you got to do what you got to do, I guess, out there as well as, let us know out there, in the, live chat, who you think's going to win this bad boy tonight. Is it going to be Ryan Blaney? Is it going to be Chase Elliott? Is it going to be Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson? Literally was at the back. He started at the back. He wasn't dead last. Ryan Blaney started dead last, but Kyle Larson had to go all the way through the LCQs and won the LCQ. Now, from what we're seeing up here, he's up here inside the top 10 after all that, everything happened and everything. So Kyle Larson better watch out for Young Money. He may have something to say about this clash when it's all said and done, which would be kind of wild, I guess you could say, Wesley, to go all the way miss out, in the heats, go to the LCQ, have to race his way and didn't think he was going to be able to win it. And then all hell ended up breaking loose, found a hole, shot up there, ends up winning the LCQ, has to start at the back. Wouldn't it be wild to see Kyle Larson end up winning this thing when it's all said and done?
Be something indeed for sure. 100 laps are done. Let's give you your full field rundown as it stands right now with 100 laps complete. 100 laps to go in the 2025 edition of the NASCAR Exhibition Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. Denny Hamlin is the leader. He finally got around Chase Elliott with about 3 laps to go after muscling his way through Chase Elliott, and Tyler Reddick followed through. So Denny Hamlin in the 11 Toyota leads. The Toyota 45 of Tyler Reddick is second. Chase Elliott, the Chevrolet number 9, is third, followed by a couple of Fords of Chris Buescher, the 9 or the 17, and Brad Keselowski in the number 6. Right now, the top 5. Christopher Bell and his Toyota sits in the 6th position in the car number 20. The 77 of Carson Hocevar, his Chevrolet, is in the 7th spot. The Ford of Joey Logano, the defending NASCAR Cup Series champion for Penske, has got the 22 in the 8th position. Toyota Bubba Wallace in the 23, of course, is in 9th, and the Ford of Ryan Blaney started dead last. Jacob Reeves, the Penske number 12, is in the 10th position right now.
Absolutely. SVG in the Trackhouse number 88 Chevrolet. He is going to be in the 11th spot. Chase Briscoe, after taking over Martin Truex Jr.'s ride in the number 19 Toyota, he will be 12th. Austin Cindric in the number 2 Ford is going to be 13th. I thought Kyle Larson was up there inside the top 10. Apparently, I missed that one by a mile. He's sitting back there in the number 14 spot in the number 5 Chevrolet. The Trackhouse number 99 of Daniel Suarez. He's back there in 15th with his teammate right behind him, the Watermelon Man, Ross Chastain, in the number 1 Chevrolet in 16th. Josh Berry for the Wood Brothers. He will be in the number 21. He is sitting in 17th. Alex Bowman for Hendrick Motorsports. His number 48 Chevrolet is sitting 18th. Ryan Preece, number 60. Ford for RFK Racing is 19th. And Todd Gilliland in the number 34 Ford is 20th.
And the rest of the rundown of the drivers, including Noah Gragson. He sits in the 21st spot in his Ford number 4. The Chevrolet of William Byron in the 24 Chevrolet, involved in the most recent caution before the end of the 100-lap first half of the race, is in 22nd. He was a lap down, but he did get the free pass to go back on the lead lap. Kyle Busch, not a good night for the core number 8 machine. The driver, of course, out of Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Zone Water Chevrolet for Richard Childress. Kyle Busch is already 2 laps down in the 23rd position. Average speed of the race so far is 59.502 miles an hour. The last lap speed before the caution came out was 60.418 seconds. So they're tethering with the 59-60 mile an hour mark. Drivers are getting ready to roll back out onto the racetrack here at Bowman Gray Stadium. We'll take another quick break, and when we come back, the second 100 laps of the Cookout Clash when we return on the Motorsports Mania Network. Gray Stadium, seeing the drivers of NASCAR for the first time since 1971 in the Cup Series level, taking on the Madhouse. Welcome back to coverage on the Motorsports Mania Network. I'm Wesley Outland, Jacob Reeves alongside. NASCAR has re-lifted the red flag, and the drivers are now patrolling around the racetrack for their final 100 laps here for an historic weekend in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The Chevrolet Corvette ZR1 pace car is now leading the field around the racetrack with the pace car lights on. And of course, we now set ourselves, Jacob, for the shootout here at the Clash of Bowman Gray Stadium.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is going to be right here. It's going to be a straight-up shootout right here. This is short track racing at its finest, Wesley. 100 laps, give it all you got. No points for second place, no money for second place. It's all about first place.
Let's reset the top 10 for you as the field was frozen at lap 100 with 100 laps to go. Denny Hamlin, oh, we got Josh Berry. Josh Berry looked like he might have had a problem with his race car, but now he's got back in line. But Josh Berry, I think, is going all the way to the rear of the field. Josh Berry with a problem. He was in the 19th position. Something's happened to Josh Berry. He now falls all the way back to 22nd on the number 21 Ford for the Wood Brothers. Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick on the front row. Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher make up row number 2. Then it's going to be Christopher Bale, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Carson Hocevar, Ryan Blaney, and Bubba Wallace. Pace car is in, green flag in the air as they cross the line. It's time to settle the Cookout Clash of 2025.
We'll see what happens. Is now Hamlin and Reddick. They're going to go at it. Here comes Chase. He's going to try. You're up top. Elliott may be able to find a barely. He lost. It goes down.
Battling side by side, it's Reddick and now Chase Elliott. They're door to door. Buescher and Christopher Bell side by side as well. And we got trouble. Kyle Larson spins. Cindric clears by him. So does Chase Briscoe down to the bottom of the painted grass. Caution out over the speedway. Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe get back forward momentum, and the yellow flag flies here on lap 103.
Yeah, and I got a feeling we're probably going to see a whole lot more of these cautions right here in this last 100 laps. There you see it.
And Cindric just punted the left rear of Kyle Larson's car, sent him around, and it looked like maybe Ross Chastain did the same on the outside lane to Chase Briscoe. Kyle Busch able to avoid Larson and Briscoe's cars spinning. Let's watch this again. Again, Shane Van Gisbergen, correction, the Trackhouse car number 88. Shane Van Gisbergen is Larson in the grass. Then he got turned by Cindric. That's what caused the caution out of turn 4.
Yeah, got sent around big time, and then Chase Briscoe ended up going around as well. And Kyle Larson tried to see, honestly, I thought he was actually thinking, maybe I'm clear, we'll see if we can drive down. But it did not pay out for him. Cindric just set it in there and tried to make a hole that wasn't there. And Larson ends up going around. Briscoe ends up getting set. He goes around as well. It's like I said, Wesley, I got a feeling we're going to see a whole lot more of these cautions before this thing's all said and done.
Another look at it again Larson was already in the grass. He got punted by Cindric. Then Shane Van Gisbergen and Chase Briscoe were having a little battle themselves, little rat-a-tat-tat, and then all of a sudden a shot turns the 19 Bass Pro Machine into the grass off of turn number 3 and 4, puts us under the yellow flag again here on lap number 102 of a 200-lap race. 98 to go in the Cookout Clash. Remember, caution laps do not count for this exhibition race of 2025, Jacob Reeves.
Absolutely, they do not, and Kyle Busch is going to get one of those laps back. He was 2 laps down, so I got a feeling he's going to end up being back on the lead lap. I just got a good feeling he's going to get back on the lead lap before this thing's all said and done. But Kyle Busch,
the fireworks are about to happen here, as you just mentioned, my friend. I think we're just starting to see it, and if, of course, Kyle Busch was a part, mind you, didn't get involved, but he was around the calamity with Larson, Cindric, Van Gisbergen, and Briscoe. However, he kind of had a smile on his face, Jacob Reeves, of that number 8 RCR Chevrolet, because he was like, okay, This is in my favor. I'm going to bypass all these cars. I'm going to get back a lap. He's 1 lap down, by the way, and he's in the 23rd spot. Field ready to come back to the Geico restart zone as the Chevrolet Corvette ZR1 pace car comes down into the pit lane. He makes the right-hand turn behind the field house in turn 3 and 4. Field back to the Geico restart zone. They're in the gas. Hamlin, Reddick, Bosses. It's the employee for 2311 side by side in turn number 1.
And Elliott trying to see if he can go after Chris Buescher. Buescher up the hill. Elliott kind of goes up the hill as well. Basically a high-speed pace lap between the whole field. Now Reddick tries to go after Hamlin. Hamlin trying to get clear off turn 2.
Those drivers work the back straightaway. Hamlin down to the inside. Elliott now powers alongside Reddick. Reddick will fight for that spot to keep it off the safer barrier. Dives to the bottom. Tries to go 3 wide. Buescher thought about it. He now gets back single file. They're door to door for second. Elliott and Reddick up the racetrack. Bailed out battles Hocevar side by side as they work into turn 1.
Hocevar basically stuck up on the top side trying to find a hole to get down to the inside. Bell still going after him. Right behind him, up front, here we go, Elliott and Reddick. They're going to door bang coming off turn 4. Elliott on the bottom, Reddick up top. Buescher trying to sneak in there. Will he be able to get the nose in there? All this going on, Denny Hamlin trying to check out.
And Chris Buescher still looking on the outside lane. He'll make a move to the inside. Elliott throws the block. Side by side as they dive into the corner. It's now Buescher down to the inside. He'll get to the left rear of the 45 of Reddick. Reddick now to the driver passenger side of the 9. He's on the right elbow. The left elbow is Buescher. They're going at it side by side, door to door, back to 1.
Reddick's trying to push Elliott down, trying to get him to hit them drains and maybe try to knock him around. Here we go, little bumper banging. Hocevar gets spun. Christopher Bales gets set in the tires.
Carson Hocevar spun up against the outside safer barrier. It happened in turn number 3. There was multiple cars involved. Carson Hocevar, his Chevrolet, Jacob, just got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, I mean, he got the big-time short end of the stick right there. It looks like he is not able to get that car moving. He is actually stuck from what we're seeing up against the tire barriers, and all that was the recipient of Christopher Bell checking it out once again on the instant replay. Kind of looked like Hocevar dove down in there, and wow, shot him up the hill. Actually, that's payback. That's payback. Look at the beef.
We got beef. We got beef. He hit the right rear and hooked Carson Hocevar and slung him into the tire barrier into turn number 3, which is kind of the entrance where you make the right-hand turn to go behind the field house off of the racetrack here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Christopher Bell punted Hocevar. He did not let up. While that was going on, we were watching a hell of a battle going on between Elliott, Reddick, and Buescher. This happened behind them.
Yeah, I mean, it really did. But, you know, honestly, I mean, you could put a little bit of that on Bell. Obviously, there was probably a little bit of retaliation in that, Wesley. But Joey Logano actually drove in there and got into the back of Bell and sent Bell into Hocevar and set him around. So you can look at it basically 50-50 on Bell and Logano on whose fault that was right there. But, I mean, it doesn't matter. The only problem out of it is Hocevar, he's in the pits, and he's got a tore-up race car.
Hey, let us know in the chat box what you think of what just happened between Christopher Bell and obviously Carson Hocevar. The racing has been excited. 92 to go. Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Chris Buescher, and Brad Keselowski, the top 5. From Bowman Gray Stadium, this is the Motorsports Mania Network. Winston-Salem, North Carolina is the site of coverage of Motorsports Mania, and the Bowman Gray Stadium is the Madhouse, and the Cookout Clash continues. Hey, by the way, this is just the beginning of coverage of motorsports on Motorsports Mania Network. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to click on the North American Sim Racing Association website. I think we posted a link from our page earlier as well. The NASCAR 500 Speed Week begins tomorrow. We'll have coverage of that as well. And Motorsports Mania will cover NASCAR, the Truck Series, Formula One, and IndyCar. The IndyCar Series cranks up at St. Petersburg, Florida on Sunday, March the 2nd. And if you're a fan of NASCAR like you're listening tonight with the Exhibition Cookout Clash, we're back, Jacob and I and Dean, on Thursday, February 13th, with coverage of the duels at Daytona. Of course, the Gander RV duels will be the action place to be at Daytona to set the stage for the Daytona 500. And if that wasn't enough, Sunday, February 16th, the 67th running of the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, will also be on the Motorsports Mania Network. Subscribe today as we finally, Jacob, get one to go from the pace car.
Get one to go, and Hamlin and Elliott will be on that front row. Tyler Reddick and Chris Buescher will be third and fourth. Brad Keselowski is going to be fifth with Seabell to his outside in sixth. Carson Hocevar, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, and last year's runner-up, Brian Blaney, for the championships in 10th.
Side by side as the field works their way back to the Geico restart zone. Green flag goes back in the air. 91 laps to go in the Cookout Clash. Back to where we pick up again with Elliott and Hamlin side by side. No correction, actually, that's Elliott, Hamlin, Reddick, and Buescher. Reddick went for the choose rule. He powers alongside the boss man. And of course, Elliott and Buescher now side by side. They're all side by side around the Madhouse of the back straightaway.
Once again, a high-speed pace lap here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Elliott, now he's going to try to go after Reddick. He got clear of Buescher. Now front four, now front five. Going to get single file as Keselowski's going to be able to get away from Logano. But after that, it is literally, no pun intended, a madhouse. Logano, Bell, Blaney, Wallace, and SVG, all of them slugging it out for that sixth spot.
Hamlin in the lead, Reddick back to second, Elliott third, Buescher, Keselowski, and now the gloves are off. Up the racetrack goes Bell, Blaney to the inside, Van Gisbergen and Wallace. It's Stenhouse and Cindric. Take your pick, there's action everywhere around Bowman Gray.
And Brian Blaney, who started dead last, had to take a professional. He is up in the 7th spot. Shot around Seabell for the 7th spot. But behind him, it is literally getting after it. Bell down to the inside. SVG hits one of the drains. He's got to back out of it. Here comes Ross Chastain. Trackhouse going at it. Literally going at it for the 10th spot. Chastain to the inside now. SVG jumps down and puts the block on him.
Van Gisbergen from Auckland, New Zealand. The Floridian from Alva, the number one, Ross Chastain. They're going at it. The Kiwi man, the Watermelon man. They're battling for Trackhouse. Meanwhile, also Suarez battles along with Alex Bowman. Cindric in front of him, but we got trouble. William Byron, Kyle Larson, Hendrick teammates spin, and the crowd goes wild in turn number 3 and 4.
Absolutely. Hendrick Motorsports, two of them actually parked over there in turn number 4, and that is turn 2, I should say, and they've got to actually sit there and wait because the field's already caught back up to them. Not 100% if they're going to go a lap down. They shouldn't because of how everything is, so I don't believe they're actually going to go a lap down, but they're parked there. They got to wait and see what happened on the instant replay. Uh-oh, there might be some bad blood right here within the Hendrick. Nope, Hocevar sent Larson into Byron. It ends up sending them both around and everybody driving through the grass trying to miss them.
Yeah, Carson Hocevar brings the crowd of the masses here at 17,000 in Bowman Gray to their feet after Hocevar tags the left rear, gave a punt right there to William Byron. Nowhere to go for Kyle Larson. He got turned to the fence as well. And William Byron, Kyle Larson able to pull away, but you got to think maybe they're going to be gunning for Carson Hocevar now. He might be the new villain here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Yeah, very good possibility. Well, maybe a villain for the drivers, but maybe a hero for the fans, Wesley, because obviously with the Madhouse, a lot of people are obviously loving the entertainment and the action that they're seeing here tonight at Bowman Gray Stadium. But, it's awesome, to get the fans on your side, but the fans ain't the one that's racing against you. The drivers are the ones racing against you, so if you end up pissing them off, then that's going to come back to bite you.
Another caution out again, 115 of 200 laps completed now, 85 to go. Let's give you your top 10 as it stands right now. Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, your top 5. Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Bubba Wallace, and Shane Van Gisbergen with that Trackhouse battle for 10th. Ross Chastain, one spot back behind the top 10, and that battle I got a feeling is going to heat up again. Drivers get the one-to-go indication. Choose rule going on, and Hamlin and Reddick going to be right there alongside for the restart when we come back to green.
Absolutely, and Elliott's going to be on the inside of Chris Buescher, Keselowski, and Logano, former teammates over at Penske. Now Keselowski, co-owner over there at RFK Racing, and Ryan Blaney, like we talked about, started dead last in the field. He will end up being 7th here on this restart. Bell, Wallace, and SVG as we're going back for a restart.
Pace cars in, back to the Geico restart zone. Green flag flies. Hamlin on the inside, Elliott right there stride for stride. Then it's, of course, also Reddick on the outside lane. He'll battle the boss. It's now Elliott, Buescher. Look out, Keselowski's going after it with Logano. Logano about the wall to clear the 6, and now we're all going to be 3 by 3. Well, at least door to door again for a moment for the leaders in 3 and 4.
Here comes Chase Elliott. He's going to drive down to the inside. Hamlin's going to get clear. Elliott's going to fill the hole. He's going to go after Reddick. Elliott, Reddick, coming off of turn number 2, and he almost ended up putting Reddick in the wall. Buescher's going to see if he can latch on to the back bumper. He's going to try to follow along. Elliott not clear as of yet. Buescher trying to fill the hole on the inside.
It is Hamlin in the lead, Elliott back to 2nd, and behind them, there you see, of course, Tyler Reddick. He's got company from Chris Buescher. Buescher alongside. They're door-to-door now for 3rd and 4th. Keselowski watches all this go on in his front windshield, and on the rear view, here comes Blaney. He started dead last. He's trying to get to the top 5 in turn number 3.
Looks like he's going to probably be able to pull it off as Logano started kind of knocking Keselowski out of the way. Keselowski had to land. Here comes Wallace. He's going to send Keselowski around in 1.
And in the process, Alex Bowman spins. Carson Hocevar goes around. Call it poetic justice as he drives through the football field, painted grass at Winston-Salem State University. All the cars roll away from the drainage ditch. Keselowski, Bowman, Hocevar, another accident here in turn number 1 and 2 there, Jacob.
We'll take a look right here on an instant replay, kind of get an idea of kind of what happened. It just sent Keselowski around for a ride, and Bowman and all of them kind of just followed suit. They were back there, Chase Briscoe and Hocevar among others. But there you see the contact right there, and I think Keselowski tried to jump into that hole. He jumped down, and Wallace just wasn't ready for it. He ends up tagging Keselowski, and then the whole stack-up happens behind them that involves Alex Bowman and Carson Hocevar. We see the stack-up. There you go. Todd Gilliland ends up getting in to Alex Bowman, and looked kind of like Kyle Larson may have kind of went back for some revenge. Maybe it was a stack-up, but maybe some revenge trying to go after Carson Hocevar. That's what sent him around.
Another caution flag here. And let's hear what somebody just said in the background. It's go time. You know you got to go. And I got a feeling you got to go now, right? I mean, come on. It's 80 laps to go. Caution out on lap number 120. Look at Kyle Larson. It looks like he's been in a demolition derby. Tape battered all over the rear end of the Chevrolet of the Oak Grove, California native of Kyle Larson. A lot of work being done. A lot of hard racing for Kyle Larson. Remember, he had to go through that 75-lap hooligan race earlier this afternoon. And Jacob, something we're noticing on the broadcast as well. Larson hit the wall earlier. Did you see how his head moved in the helmet? Even though it's a short track, these guys are still taking some pretty hard hits into the outside safer barrier when the cars get into them.
Wesley, that could have actually been from that last accident, actually, just some of the shots that these guys are getting hit from behind. I mean, obviously, you know, they're taking some hard impacts when they end up getting spun around. The back end ends up going into the wall. But a lot of that right there, I think that was actually from that last accident where just guys are just checking up and guys are just hitting each other so damn hard in the back end that it's almost giving them whiplash, to be honest with you. As we see Chase Briscoe down on pit road, that sucker looks like it's went through a grinder. The whole car literally has. But, I mean, these guys are taking some hard impacts right here. I mean, it's entertaining for the fans, but at the same time, some of these drivers is going to be really sore when they get up in the morning.
Well, the driver out of Mitchell, Indiana, has had his share of up and down luck here tonight in the number 19 Bass Pro Shops Club Toyota for, of course, Chase Briscoe. Let's get ready to set the restart for you now. Thanks to NASCAR Media for timing and scoring for the Motorsports Mania Network's coverage of the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. Denny Hamlin is the leader. Christopher Buescher is in second. Chase Elliott third. Tyler Reddick fourth. Brian Blaney is in fifth. Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, and Shane Van Gisbergen. 80 laps to go. Green flag back in the air as they make a snail's pace to the Geico restart zone. Finally, they hit the loud pedal. Hamlin battles alongside his Buescher. Buescher now dealing with now Hamlin. Reddick is now hung out to dry as he gets passed by Elliott for third. And now Blaney comes piling in alongside the 45 for third as they work into turn number one.
Boy, look at Ryan Blaney. YRB, look at him go to the door of Tyler Reddick trying to go after fourth. And here comes Chase Elliott. Elliott's going to slide by. He's going to get past Buescher. He's going to get to the inside of Denny Hamlin. And don't look now, YRB's going after third. He's going after Chris Buescher. But side by side for the lead, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and Bowman Gray.
Toyota Chevrolet battle side by side. Now it's going to be also, oh, he pushes him up the racetrack. Hamlin almost tagged the outside safer barrier. Elliott dive bombs to the inside. They're door to door right there with one another as they work into turn four.
And the fans are absolutely loving it. They are entertained, loving this side-by-side door banging and all kinds of chaos that happens here at Bowman Gray. YRB, Ryan Blaney, he has got to third, but there's a big stack up. Buescher back there, he ends up getting stacked up by Bubba Wallace. Wallace is going to dive down to the inside. He almost jumps the curb as side by side, stride for stride, Hamlin and Elliott for the lead as now Hamlin goes up the racetrack.
The hero is Elliott. The villain is Hamlin. Cheers and boos from the crowd's reaction at the Madhouse. They battle for the lead. Hamlin gets the clear on Hamlin's car. Now Elliott battles back. Blaney now reels them in off the corner out of turn four. Wallace and Buescher now battle for fourth as that goes on in turn one.
I'm telling you, honestly, we've been talking about Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott this whole time, but watch out for Ryan Blaney right on the heels of these guys. Had to get a provisional to even be in this race. Now he's up here in the podium spot in third and has got a shot to win the clash here tonight at Bowman Gray, but it is not over yet between Bubba Wallace and Chris Buescher. They are slugging it out big time as Tyler Reddick riding right behind him and Joey Logano riding there as well.
Buescher alongside, followed by that Toyota battle on the inside lane. That goes on as we still can see Christopher Bell try to make his run on Chris Buescher. To the inside, watching Bubba Wallace. He now powers his way to the number 4 spot. He clears by Buescher. Now Christopher Bell, actually Tyler Reddick, now trying to get to them. This goes on. The teammates of 2311 Racing, the boss of 2311, Hamlin trying to reset and go after Elliott again for the lead in turn 1 and 2.
He took a shot at him, but it did not work out. Now Elliott's going to get about a car length, but that's going to shrink. Here comes Hamlin trying to drive in. Looking back at Tyler Reddick and Joey Logano. Logano almost ends up getting into Reddick, almost sends him around. But here comes Hamlin, and Ryan Blaney sitting in third. He may just, honestly, Ryan Blaney may be in the perfect spot to just let Hamlin try to do what he can with Chase Elliott and then watch them wreck each other and Ryan Blaney drive right by him. I think that's what he's doing at this point.
Ryan Blaney started this race by a provisional starting 23rd. Process of elimination of what's gone on for the last 135 laps. He has worked his way now into the number 3 position with 64 laps to go. It's Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Bubba Wallace, Chris Buescher, your top 5, as Logano now goes after Buescher for 5th in turn number 1.
Yeah, he knocked him straight up the racetrack trying to get down to the inside. That being Tyler Reddick in the 45. Logano down to the inside. Reddick trying to pinch him down on the curb and maybe hit one of them drains. Barely clear is Joey Logano, and Reddick may go in and give him a little shot of his own. Right behind him, Ross Chastain, SVG, and Austin Cindric, they're trying to follow suit as well, but Reddick found a hole, jumped down in front of Ross Chastain, and they'll be single file into 1.
Only fitting that Team Trackhouse have been right alongside each other, it seems like, for the last 40 laps or so. Ross Chastain of the number 1 Chevrolet and Shane Van Gisbergen of the 88 Chevrolet. Now it's still the leader, Chase Elliott. He's in front. The interval now half a second back to Denny Hamlin. 7/10 back is Ryan Blaney, and now Ricky Stenhouse goes after Reddick for this spot. This is going on for the number 8 position off turn 4.
Ross down there on the inside trying to see if he can make it stick, and right behind him SVG trying to get this Trackhouse Racing Parade to get rolling on the inside. Chastain on the bottom, Reddick up top. Chastain overshoots it, tries to move Reddick up the hill, and maybe try to see if he can make it stick and go after him as they go into 1.
Closing in on 50 laps to go here at Bowman Gray Stadium. It is still Chase Elliott in the lead. Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney sit back to 3rd. Now it's actually Ross Chastain trying to hold the lights off for these guys behind him. Tyler Reddick, Shane Van Gisbergen, his teammate. They're all getting crazy here at the Madhouse down the home stretch as we approach 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Here comes Ryan Blaney. He's trying to get him a spot. He started 23rd, lap 35, he was up to 19th. Lap 70, he was up to 13th. And now, here at lap 143, he's up here in 3rd battling with Denny Hamlin, a past Clash winner, might I add. And he is trying to get him some of Denny Hamlin. Dives down to the inside, thinks better of it, he'll fall back in line.
Chase Elliott still holding on to the lead by about 2 car lengths. Then it's Hamlin. Hamlin's about to deal with the back end of the car for the provisional of the clash of Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney, last year's Cup Series champion, the runner-up, the Cup champion of 2023, the runner-up last year. His provisional got him into this race. He's now trying to go to the bridesmaid spot, reeling in Hamlin in turn number 2.
I mean, you take whatever you can get, however you can get it, and that's how Ryan Blaney is doing it, and you got to make the most of it. Bubba Wallace started this race 14th, and now he's up here in the 4th spot as Ryan Blaney just knocks Hamlin up the racetrack. He's going to get down to the inside, to the left rear. Hamlin tries to see if he can pitch him. He's not going to be able to do it. Blaney side by side at the line.
Ford Toyota battle door to door. Blaney clears by Hamlin. Give the 12 the pass. He moves to 2nd now. Hamlin back to 3rd. Wallace is reeling in Hamlin's car as now Elliott's got to deal with Blaney. He's going after him now with under 50 to go in the Cookout Clash.
You got to think about it, honestly. Chase Elliott was probably not even thinking that he'd have to deal with Ryan Blaney after 150 laps. But yeah, he's going to have to deal with him. Blaney right up under the back bumper is Tyler Reddick trying to see if he can reel in Ross Chastain for that 7th spot. But we stay with this battle. Blaney all over the back bumper of Chase Elliott. Might try to knock him up the hill. They friends, Wesley. They are friends. But when it comes to clash time, hey, you're race car drivers.
This race has been under green flag for about 40 minutes now. 47 laps to go in the Cookout Clash of 2025. Chase Elliott leads. Ryan Blaney, though, reeling him in like bait on a hook. He's ready to pounce on him here at the Madhouse. This place is going to be like a bomb exploding if the 12 clears the 9 going into turn 3.
Yeah, he's reeling him in like a big old catfish on a lake, on a bass boat. I mean, he is all over his back bumper. Elliott trying to stay true and keep it right on the bottom of the racetrack. Blaney actually taking a little bit higher approach going into the corner and kind of diming it, if you will, to try to get the drive off on the inside coming off of the corner. He's entering high and then dropping down to the low side, trying to get a run any way that he can, much like what Denny Hamlin was doing a while ago. Hamlin's actually fell back to his car, actually, Bubba Wallace. You'll see that battle here for the 3rd spot, but Logano now going after Buescher for 5th.
It is a conveyor belt of full song speed around the quarter mile here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Every driver right now, single file, except up ahead is now Alex Bowman gets a little company. He's going to be battling alongside Carson Hocevar. It's in the back. They also know the leaders are running him down. Battle for the lead. Ryan Blaney tries to get after Elliott one more time. 42 to go.
Yeah, he's basically just waiting, just laying in the weeds, honestly, Wesley Outland, just kind of just waiting to see what's going to happen, just let these laps tick off, and then Blaney's going to probably end up sending it and trying to go for the Clash win. Logano was able to get around Chris Buescher for that 5th spot. He'll set his sights on Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin just up the road. So the defending NASCAR Cup Series champion started 7th. He's up to 5th right now. Pretty solid night for the defending champion of the NASCAR Cup Series.
It's Georgia in the lead with Elliott. It's North Carolina, Blaney in 2nd. Virginia, Hamlin in 3rd. Alabama, Wallace in 4th. And Connecticut, Logano in 5th. That's your top 5. Elliott now battles through lap traffic. He goes after the Monterrey, Mexico driver, Suarez on the outside in 4.
Suarez is trying not to give an inch, but he's going to have to, because here comes Ryan Blaney. He's going to dive down to the inside, and that kind of hurt YRB's chances right there just a little bit, Wesley, because now he's going to have to fight back and get some of that ground that he lost to Chase Elliott after having to deal with that lap traffic. And they're also going to be catching some more lap traffic here in just a little bit in the form of Brad Keselowski. He was up there at the front at one point. Now he's all the way back here in 21st after getting spun around earlier on here in the event.
Time running out here now as we close in on 35 laps to go here in the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. It's Chase Elliott still the leader. Ryan Blaney is in 2nd spot. Denny Hamlin sits 3rd. Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano. That's your top 5 as these drivers work their way single file around the racetrack, and the leaders are going after more lap traffic. Brad Keselowski in their sights on the back straightaway.
Yeah, and then the one right in ahead of Keselowski is going to be Gragson. And then the guy that's going to be in front of him is going to be Alex Bowman, a Hendrick Motorsports car. Now, here's what's going to be interesting. Keselowski's going to try to hold off all that he can of Chase Elliott right here. He's trying to hold him off. He may not be able to. Elliott's going to give him the bumper. He's going to knock him up the hill. Here comes the Ford of Ryan Blaney down to the inside. Keselowski trying to help out a Ford partner here in the Clash.
And Ryan Blaney just gave him a kick in the shorts as well. He said, "Go, buddy, get out of my way." Chase Elliott, though, still holding off the advances of Ryan Blaney. While they thunder their way around the Madhouse, they still get around more backmarker cars in front of the leaders as they go back into turn number 1.
Another Ford's going to be in front of Chase Elliott. That's going to be Noah Gragson, and obviously Ford, Chevys, and Toyotas try to help out their partners any way that they can. So we'll look to see if Gragson tries to hold up Chase Elliott, maybe try to help out Ryan Blaney. Maybe not. Elliott coming through like a bulldozer, knocks Gragson out of the way. Here comes Blaney down to the inside now. Here comes Blaney. He's going to give Elliott a shot. The next car in line is Alex Bowman, and obviously he's going to let Elliott go, and he's going to try to hold off Ryan Blaney and help out Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah, obviously their teammates, and Alex Bowman will give way for the number 9 teammate of Elliott. Now, will he fight off with Blaney? No, he will not. He gives Blaney a fit on the inside. Blaney had to fight and muscle his way at the turn number 1 to get the clear on the 48 of Bowman. Now Bowman gets some company while Noah Gragson wheels him back in. Now there's a little bit of clean air, maybe a lap or 2, maybe 3 laps of a little calmness between Elliott and Blaney. Blaney could try to take advantage to run down the leader. Nonetheless, they come to the line, closing in under 30 to go in the Cookout Clash.
Elliott's going to see if he can get that little bit of air, try to get away the best that he can. And ironically enough, the next car that he's going to come to, I believe, is going to be William Byron. So there's another Hendrick Motorsports Chevy that's going to try to help out Chase Elliott. We're looking back through the field as here comes Ross Chastain. He's trying to set it on Chris Buescher for 6th.
And right now, that's that battle that's heating up as right now the leaders, Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney, are still 1 and 2. They have a 3-second lead over Denny Hamlin, who's back to 3rd. 4 seconds back is Wallace, 4 seconds back is Logano, and almost 6 seconds back is Chris Buescher. So could it be Elliott, Blaney for the Cookout Clash of 2025? lap traffic in their way as well as they work their way across the corner, back into the corner. There is a poll being posted. Can Ryan Blaney take P1 for the win? Vote yes or no. I believe he can do it. Does he got enough time is the question. 25 laps remaining as we close into the finish of the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. And Jacob, this is another long green flag run we've seen in the second stage of this race.
Absolutely, and you're seeing the guys on your screen from what you're seeing. These guys right here, they literally are on both ends of the spectrum. Your pole award winner, Chase Elliott, who won the pole and was the fastest man, led the most laps here in the Clash, and a man that had to take the provisional and start dead last. So two guys that started on two completely different ends of this race have found their way up here to the front. Elliott, he's kept it clean. He's been fine. Ryan Blaney's had to go through hell to get up here to get to the lead. Will he be able to pull it off? Chime in on your votes right here on the Motorsports Mania Network. Let us know if you think Ryan Blaney's going to take P1.
Closing in on the finish of this race as well. Under 20 laps to go, or 20 laps remaining. It is Chase Elliott, it is Ryan Blaney, it is Hamlin, it is Wallace and Logano. There's a lot of separation by these other cars, as now we see Wallace and Logano battle for 4th and 5th spot. That's about the most heated racing on the racetrack. Logano, Wallace, they slam each other in the back of the corner of 3. Now Logano gives a whole trunk fistful of Wallace. Logano trying to punt him again as they go into turn number 1. He's got to run on the inside. He'll clear him. They make contact. Wallace goes up the hill. Logano dives to the inside in 3.
Logano's going to be able to get the spot, so take Joey Logano to go to 4th. Wallace will get kicked back to 5th, as now they work their way around Kyle Larson. They've already put Byron a lap down. Now they work their way around Kyle Larson, and Larson tried to see if he could hold off Blaney just a little bit, help out that Hendrick Motorsports teammate, and put the block on Ryan Blaney. But now Blaney's going to be able to get by the next driver they're going to catch. Carson Hocevar, he's in a Chevy. Then the next one's going to be Kyle Busch. He's in a Chevrolet. So a lot of Chevys right now. Seeing the Chevy lead, they're trying to help out the Chevy all they can.
Will the Bowtie friends help out the leader of the Chevrolet of Elliott? That's the question. And Hendrick Motorsports, what a tough break for them. Right now, Larson, Byron, Bowman, all a lap down. Their comrade, Chase Elliott, leads the way, closing in on 13 to go at the line here in the Cookout Clash.
I got a feeling that siren's going to be ringing till it can't no more. It'll probably ring till it's damn broke by the end of the night, probably early on in the morning if Chase Elliott could hold on for another 15, now 14 laps. Ryan Blaney had to get around Hocevar. Here comes Elliott, 14 to go. He's got the lead, but Blaney's still trying to close him in.
Right now, time running out as they're closing into the home stretch of this race. It is still Chase Elliott in the lead. He's now got Kyle Busch in his sights to put him a lap down again. He is in a Chevrolet. A Chevrolet is by Chase Elliott. Will he give way and let them race for the finish, or will he give him a fit? 4-lap cars up ahead of Elliott. Ryan Blaney, his Ford, tries to reel in the 9. They go at it again with 12 to go in turn 1.
12 to go, and Kyle Busch looks like he may pull up out of the way. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see what happens. Elliott dives down to the inside, has got to make that move, and he will make it work. Now Busch going to jump right in front of Ryan Blaney. He tried to put it down there, and Blaney's going to sink Kyle up the hill. He tried to make it stick, but no avail. Kyle Busch put the block on Blaney. Blaney's sitting in there. Now they're going to get back Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch finally getting a little rough now as Blaney goes up the racetrack. Kyle Busch powers back on the inside. This is a lap down car battling with the second place car, going at it around here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Meanwhile, the race is down to the home stretch. Chase Elliott is in the lead with under 10 laps to go. It is Elliott, it is Blaney, it is Hamlin. These drivers continue to bow out, and of course Elliott now moving by lap traffic. He'll clear by Todd Gilliland. And while that goes on, Blaney still having a fit with Kyle Busch as that goes on. Finally, Blaney clears the number 8 on the back straightaway as we close in on under 10 to go.
Coming this time, it'll be 7 laps to go. Blaney still trying to see if he can reel him in. He's got to get around the 34 of Todd Gilliland, and Gilliland's going to pull out of the way and let Blaney go. But now that lead has grown big time to about a second. really, honestly, if Blaney has any shot at Chase Elliott, he's going to need a caution to be able to get back in this bad boy. We've seen some crazy finishes. We've seen some crazy stuff here at Bowman Gray Stadium here at the Madhouse. We'll see if Elliott can hold on. Coming this time, open hand for you, Wesley. 5 to go here at Bowman Gray.
Yeah, this race coming to the end right now as Chase Elliott still continues to hit his marks. He'll now set his sights on the Wood Brothers 21 of Josh Berry. He'll push Josh Berry up the racetrack as Elliott now in panic mode. He knows Blaney's coming after him. 7/10 now closes the 5/10 of a second. He's trying to get one last charge at him here on the quarter mile with 4. Now make it 3 to go here off turn number 4.
Bell's going to be right in front of Chase Elliott. He's going to dive down to the inside. Next one's going to be Daniel Suarez in the 99. He's in a Chevy. As here comes Blaney. He's going to dive down to the inside of Seabell. They make a little bit of contact going into 3 and 4. 2 laps to go. Chase Elliott trying to get away and get him a Clash win.
Chase Elliott now up the racetrack is going to be Daniel Suarez. He'll clear by Elliott. Let him have at it. Blaney now back a car length to the number 9 of Elliott's ride. Here they come to the line. White flag in the air. 1 more lap to go. Get ready to blare the siren in Dawsonville, Georgia at the pool room. Georgia's Chase Elliott kicks off the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. The 2020 champion wins the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. Ryan Blaney will have to settle for second spot after starting 23rd on the provisional. Denny Hamlin third, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, and Ross Chastain, the way they finish in the top 5 here in an exciting monumental night in Bowman Gray Stadium's Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Will not forget Groundhog Day 2025.
How about that right there for Chase Elliott? 100 years for Napa, and he brings it home here tonight. Ryan Blaney, what could have been trying to get through some of that lap traffic? If he wouldn't have had to worry about that lap traffic, honestly, Wesley Outland, I think he would have had a shot to be able to go after this Clash win. I mean, what a drive, though. I mean, obviously, Chase Elliott led the most laps. Great deal for Chase Elliott and all, but Ryan Blaney with the drive of his life from dead last all the way up here and had a shot to try to get it done, but unfortunately 1 spot short, and the 2020 champion ends up getting it done. The siren, I bet you it is ringing loudly right now in Dawsonville, Georgia.
Time of race, 51 minutes and 3 seconds. Now, you got to remember that they froze NASCAR timing and scoring when they actually had caution, so the clock only counted during race mode. 51 minutes and 03 seconds. Average speed was 58.756 miles an hour. And Chase Elliott now doing a Polish victory lap, burning it down in that Napa Know-How 100-year anniversary, white and blue. He literally is ramming the safer barrier with the left rear of his race car, smoking, spinning tires, drives through the middle of the infield grass and burns it down, Madhouse style, as Chase Elliott does it like the Myers and Browns do during the regular season in modifieds.
Woo, boy, baby, that is how you do it. Chase Elliott giving the fans quite a show, and that is how you end up doing it for Chase Elliott. Burn it down, shot grass all over the place. The fans are absolutely going wild. Here is Chase Elliott getting out of the car. He is your 2025 Clash winner here for the NASCAR Cup Series.
It is deafening here at Bowman Gray Stadium. The crowd literally has become, remember what I said, the hero was Elliott, the villain was Hamlin at one time in the race. And I think people were definitely going to be rooting for Ryan Blaney. Hold your head up high. Second place is nothing to be upset about for the Penske number 12. But Jacob, Chase Elliott, the crowd is still in deafening around this horseshoe grandstand at Bowman Gray Stadium. I don't even think Chase Elliott can even speak yet. He can't even think of the words because this place, this crowd, these fans have literally took in Chase Elliott. Could this be the year for Chase Elliott to hoist a 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion? He won it 4 years ago in 2020.
Yeah, very good possibility right there for the number 9 of Chase Elliott. And could be a possibility to kind of carry that momentum of what we will see in 2 weeks for the Daytona 500. Chase is yet to get him a championship for that Daytona 500, so he may be able to pull that off. Come close back in 2021 when Michael McDowell won it. Chase ended up finishing second in that race. So Chase may have a shot to try to carry that momentum, Wesley, and get him a Daytona 500 win after winning the Clash here tonight.
On a cold North Carolina evening, temperature now at 45 degrees. The green flag fell. It was 47 degrees on a mostly cloudy night here in February. The fans at Bowman Gray Stadium, as they now exit from the rafters, from the grandstands, from the suites, from the pit area, were treated to a monumental event here with the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. I hope Ben Kennedy, Jim France, Mike Helton, and my friends at NASCAR announce that the Cookout Clash will return here in 2026. I think this race lived up to the billing, Jacob Reeves.
I believe it did too, honestly. I mean, you got some awesome racing for the past 2 nights. You saw guys going at it old school Madhouse style. I mean, you saw some of the great, honestly, some of the best short track racing that I've seen in quite some time, honestly, Wesley, especially here with the NASCAR Cup Series. And, I mean, it did not disappoint, not by a long shot. The last time I actually saw a great short track race was the Bristol race for the spring race last season. So it's been a couple of short track races, baby. It's been a couple of them, but I'm telling you, this one right here, I think old Jeff Gluck's pole is going to go through the roof on this one.
And I think this was definitely a great show. Hey, listen, for folks, for our audience watching, looking at timing and scoring on the Motorsports Mania Network, we are going to step away real quickly. We're going to give our final thoughts. We're also going to give you the full field rundown unofficially, pending anything happening in inspection here at the exhibition race of 2025, the Cookout Clash here at Bowman Gray Stadium. And then, of course, we'll set the stage for Daytona, the preview of the duels, and the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, all forthcoming. We'll wrap it up. First, the NASCAR 500 begins tomorrow. Here's more details about it as Chase Elliott celebrates one more time with a deafening roaring crescendo for his accomplishment of winning here at the Cookout Clash. We're back from Bowman Gray Stadium to wrap it up next.
Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines!
back here at Bowman Gray Stadium. The Cookout Clash is in the books on Motorsports Mania Network, and we hope that you've enjoyed the coverage from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. A very highly entertaining race. When it was all said and done, at the end of the race with 53 minutes and 56 seconds in total, an average speed of 58.756 miles an hour. Chase Elliott kicks off the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season, winning the exhibition race at the of course, Bowman Gray Stadium. And now we set our sights to the World Center of Racing. Of course, the duels will be coming up on Thursday night, February the 13th. Of course, the 500 will be on February the 16th. We'll preview all that here in just a moment, but Jacob Reeves, we need to give the full field rundown of this race, man. Obviously, Chase Elliott's going to cross the line. He'll be the winner of the race. Second place will go to Ryan Blaney. Denny Hamlin will finish third. Joey Logano fourth, and Bubba Wallace the top five. Ross Chastain will finish in the sixth position, followed by Austin Cindric seventh. Tyler Reddick, eighth. Shane Van Gisbergen. There was a big trackhouse battle between Chastain and Van Gisbergen a lot through the clash. He finishes ninth, and Chris Buescher will finish in the top 10.
Then his RFK racing teammate, Ryan Preece, in the number 60 Ford, he's going to finish 11th, with Christopher Bell in the 20, ends up finishing 12th. Josh Berry, pretty good run for the Wood brothers. He's going to come home 13th here tonight, with Todd Gilliland finishing in 14th. Kyle Busch just never could get it dialed in here tonight. Rowdy Nation's going to have to settle for another night. He will end up finishing in 15th, with Carson Hocevar finishing in 16th. Kyle Larson in the 5 is going to finish 17th, with the 2024 Daytona 500 champion William Byron will finish at 18th. Alex Bowman will finish 19th. How about that? 17th, 18th, 19th. All of them Hendrick Motorsports. But Bowman's going to get 19th, and Noah Gragson will finish 20th.
And the rest of the rundown will find Noah Gragson, Brad Keselowski, and Daniel Suarez a lap down or two. One driver unable to finish the race. Car number 19 felt like he was in a demo derby. Chase Briscoe in the Bass Pro Shops, number 19 Toyota, unable to finish the race. He dropped out 80 laps down on lap number 120. Of course, again, only 11 cars were on the lead lap when the checkered flag fell. While we were given the unofficial results of the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium, Chase Elliott now celebrates in a make-do victory lane here in turn number 3 and 4 up against the field house at Bowman Gray Stadium, where now it's kind of like a victory lane behind the grandstand, and now they kind of have their moment with the hat show, if you will, the hat dance as we always call it. And Jacob, we also saw Chase Elliott pull up his car next to Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney had a moment with Chase Elliott, just kind of giving high fives and a hug in the cockpit to Chase Elliott. There's a lot of respect. There's a lot of love between those two drivers, and they raced hard. When it was all said and done, I think we were definitely treated to two great drivers finishing in the podium spots and a phenomenal race tonight in the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Yes, sir. We was absolutely treated to a fantastic race here tonight. And obviously Chase and Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney, that is, both of those drivers, basically somewhat grew up together, I guess you could say. Obviously Chase Elliott, the son of the legendary Hall of Famer Bill Elliott, and then Ryan Blaney, the son of Dave Blaney. So, big deal for them. They grew up together, literally grew up together with their dads going to the racetrack, and they was going to the racetrack to watch their dads. So a lot of history between those two young men right there, and a lot of talent right there. I mean, that right there is the future of NASCAR with those guys, and both of them, honestly, NASCAR Cup Series champions. And later on down the road when they retire, Wesley, I got a feeling they're going to be first ballot Hall of Famers.
Our next broadcast coverage on the Motorsports Mania Network will be with the NASCAR Cup Series. They'll be in action on Thursday, February the 13th, with coverage of the Blue-Green Vacation Duels. Say that 3 times fast. The Blue-Green Vacation Duels at Daytona. Of course, as always, it is those exciting duel races, 60 lappers to set the lineup for the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Now, qualifying will be on Wednesday, February the 12th. We will not broadcast that because we have other broadcast obligations with NASRA. However, Thursday, February 13th, The Blue-Green Vacation Duels sets the stage for the 67th running of the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, Sunday, February 16th at 2:30 Eastern. Oh, and also another member of Motorsports Mania Network is planning to cover on Valentine's Day the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Florida Orange Dealers 250. That, of course, will be on Friday night, February the 14th. Of course, the duels on the 13th. The 14th will be the Truck Series and the NASCAR Daytona 500 on the Motorsports Mania Network will be on February the 16th at 2:30 Eastern Time. If you're a fan of Formula One, we'll have coverage of Formula One very soon. And don't forget the NTT IndyCar Series. Their series fires up very soon, exactly 30 days from now on Sunday, March 2nd, with the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg down in warm, hopefully sunny Florida. Jacob Reeves, it's a cold night at Bowman Gray. Your final take of the Cookout Clash, sir. Great working with you.
Yes, sir. Always great to work with you, Wesley Outland. I mean, I'm telling you, buddy, I mean, this was a fantastic race. I mean, we saw all kinds of stuff. We saw it basically for 2 days. I mean, let's not count out, the heat races and the qualified and everything that we saw. A lot of guys trying to send it and making it honestly making the Madhouse what it really is and showing that it lives up to its name. And out of all of it, you seen one guy that started on the pole, Chase Elliott. You saw one guy that had to take a provisional from finishing second in the championship points last season, Ryan Blaney. Two young and up-and-coming stars. I shouldn't say up and coming. Hell, both of them's champions, but both of them on both ends of the spectrum comes up and puts on a show here for the fans here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Yeah, I'm telling you, you were talking about it, Wesley. 2025 is going to be a fantastic year for NASCAR. It's already kicked off big time in a good way.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The duels, the truck race, and the 500. The next time the Motorsports Mania Network will have coverage of NASCAR. Timing and scoring of tonight's Cookout Clash has been provided by NASCAR Media. Of course, we are proud to be a member of NASCAR. Thank you also to, of course, producer-director Biggles Dean Hopton on the production side of things. For the redneck announcer, Jacob Reeves, check out his latest podcast of the Door Banging Download on all podcast platforms and outlets. For Jacob Reeves, I'm Wesley Outland. Congratulations to Dawsonville, Georgia's Chase Elliott. His Chevrolet number 9 wins the return of NASCAR Cup Series racing at Bowman Gray Stadium. He'll take the Cookout Clash. They're going to blare the siren in the Dawsonville pool room all night. Good evening from Bowman Gray. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Daytona.